Hello, beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. I'm so excited to be here today because it's September. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Okay, a little echo here. um, I have a lot of new people coming in to interviews. So I have a long list of new people that are coming in that all have different modalities that they use in terms of healing themselves and others, how they help people. And this is something that dropped in for me that as something that needed to be shared more of because, and I'm going to tell you a little story here. When I started down the path of my own spiritual awakening, I did my own healing. I started with the belief that I could help people relieve their physical pain from their body, which is something that I can do, is one of my gifts. And I started doing that and practicing with people. And then strangers would give me the feedback of, how they felt uh, and whether there was a shift or not, which there always was. And that's what made me believe in my gifts because my gifts, just like yours, are you're born with them. And they are such a second nature to you, whatever it is that you're able to do, that you don't think they're anything special. That's how I was. It took me about 20 years to really come out and believe in myself because it was just a thing. It was just like, it's not a big deal. It's like, can everybody do this? It was just like that. Like, you don't pay attention. If people tell you that what you're doing is real, you don't believe them because they're your friends or your family or people that you know. And so it wasn't until I started doing the deep healing and began to sharing my gifts with people who I didn't know, which is key here, strangers, then I started to believe that there was something within me that was different or special or that I had something to give. I'm sharing you this part of my story because after that, after I realized, like, oh, there's something here, I can actually help people, I started wanting to learn anything and everything that came my way. So I learned from so many amazing teachers, and I learned so many different modalities. Like access consciousness with Dane here, and energy medicine with Dana Eden, and like so many different things. And each one that I would look into, I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You read everything, you read what they do, the testimonials, how it works, and you're like immersed, like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to be able to help people this way. And I immerse myself in a lot of different modalities that I learned. But I would get to a point in each one where there was a teaching that reminded me of one of the very first things that I myself already knew when I had first started, without looking at any other teachers, without looking at any other healings, without looking at any other text. This was just my inner knowing that I was beginning to remember, and I was beginning to listen to this inner voice, to this intuition, whatever you want to call it, and activate that within me. So I would get to a certain point in the teachings, in the course, in whatever it was that I was invested learning, and they would say something or something would be written, and I'd be like, hey, that's what I was doing at the very beginning of my journey. And then I would kind of like lose interest. And it was kind of like, well, now I know this. I didn't know this back then. It was kind of like, oh, you got to the moment where you realize that your gift is your gift, or your ability is your ability. And you can learn different modalities, which are completely fine and perfect and amazing. And if it works for you, yes, use it. But it's all about you because you yourself are a unique being of light with your own imprint, right? So it's just like your fingerprints. There's no two fingerprints that are the same in the entire population of the world. Your unique spiritual gifts or abilities are just as different and unique. So this happened to me time and time again as I dove down the rabbit hole, reading the books, looking at videos, immersing myself in new modalities or new types of learning. Yes, I learned a lot in all of them, but again, I would get to a point where it would bring me back. It's like a circle coming back to my memory, to my remembrance, to my own ability. The one that I knew, like when I started helping people remove physical pain from their bodies, no one taught me that. It was just something that happened. Like I just knew. It was just there, right? Like it was second nature to me. And I knew how to move the energy, how to connect, how to transmute the energy, how to not use my own. I don't know how I knew this. Well, now I know. But back then I didn't, which is why I didn't pay any attention. This is why I didn't believe in it. Like I didn't think it was a thing, right? Because it was just, I don't have any learnings or teachings, or I didn't go to any school, or I don't have a certificate on the wall telling me that I can do this. And that's why I discredited myself before anyone else would, because, like I can't claim something that I didn't study. So all of the different modalities that are out there all work, and they're all perfect, and they're all amazing, and they all help people. Whatever you feel connected to, wanting to learn, is your door, your opening, your initiation to continue going down that rabbit hole and to continue to connect you, yourself, with your higher self. And when you connect with you, yourself, then your own unique abilities begin to blossom and open up. So, in a nutshell, that's how it happens. So, because I studied with so many different teachers and so many different modalities, and it kept bringing me back full circle to me, to what I had, to what I knew, I recognized that all of those different paths that I took, all of different books and things, kept opening and awakening different parts of me. So, in my podcast here, I am bringing you new people who are invested in their own modalities, sharing their own stories, how they got here, how what they came up with or what they studied, and how they help people in efforts of you, the listener, being able to hear something that clicks for you. So if my modality, if my story is not clicking for you, it's not like, yeah, I don't know. But if somebody else in the podcast is like telling their story and you can see yourself in their story, in their words, in their journey, then that little bit of text or sentence that you hear will awaken something within you to help you awaken and remember who you are, what your story is, what your ability is, and you can begin to put those things together for you. So I've had a near death experience. Franco Romero, he tells a beautiful, amazing story about his life and his awareness. He has a book. I think he's got another one coming up soon. And there's just so much wealth in there. If you haven't seen it, go back and do search for Franco Romero, and you can listen to that wonderful interview, and you can see if his voice, if what he's saying resonates with you, and then that could be the awareness or awakening that you need, or the key that you need to open you up to more awareness and to remembering what you're able to do. There's another wonderful one, Carrie Cass. She is evidential medium. She teaches this. So if you're interested in learning how to really connect with past loved ones, have this type of teaching, if you resonate with her energy, then that can maybe be the key for you. Like, oh, this is really what I want, and that person's energy resonates with me, right? And then you can learn more from them, because there's so much free stuff all over, right? You can just follow them, you can listen to them, you can lean into it. There's a wonderful animal communicator, so incredibly gifted and passionate about what she does. Amazing. Just listen to these stories to see what really makes your heart sing, makes you like feel like, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, I feel attracted to that. And then you want to listen to it, because these are actual keys for you to unlock your heart, your soul in remembering your own abilities and what you're able to do. So, on that note, I have a huge list of new people coming in that I'm going to be sharing with you so that you can learn more, different modalities, different things that are out there that you may not have heard of before, or you may have heard, but this will give you a little bit more of an insight of what that means. And then you get to learn more, and then that's how you get to choose, like, oh, that's interesting, I'll do that. Like, for example, I use the emotion code all the time. A different modality, right? Dr. What's his name? I forgot, Bradley somebody, sorry. But like I use that, like that's one of the things that I learned as well. And it's just like so much, there's so much out there. And my hope is that as you listen to different people, different modalities that are out there through my podcast or through somebody else, if that's what you're doing, then that you will be able to open up that part of you that will help you remember who you are, your abilities, and open yourself up to the next level in your life, right? So many people, it's like a huge giant tsunami of a wave of new souls that are becoming aware and awakening right now. And this might be you. It might be you. What's happening is that so many people are feeling the new energy. They're becoming so much more aware that maybe this isn't all that's supposed to be. Maybe there's so much more out there that I don't know what it is. And they don't really know where to go. They don't know where to reach out for help. They don't know that there is help available to them because they're just waking up. So it is my hope that through this podcast that you're able to get some information, that you're able to see the mirror in somebody that is closer to what you're going through. And then you can begin to realize that, number one, you're not alone. Number two, it's normal to go through all of these thoughts and ideas and fears, even when we start to feel and become aware of different things that are unseen. And also, it just becomes so difficult because usually when somebody awakens, the circle of friends that you usually have, your family, your friends, your community, isn't aware and or awake. And so it's difficult to have someone who will listen to you without looking at you as if you were crazy. Because you yourself might think that there's something wrong with you or that you're going cuckoo or something because you're feeling like, I don't know, what is this? How do I know these things? And you might be questioning yourself. So actually there's this series that I found. It's called, what's it called? Saving Hope. And it's about this doctor who goes through an NED, and then he starts seeing ghosts and communicating with them. And of course, everyone around him, who he's quite careful about who and when he shares this information. He's like really not wanting to share with anyone. But when he does, it's like everyone around him wants to find the science around it, right? Could it be that you're hallucinating? Could it be that you're making this up? Could it be that there's still trauma there? Could it be that there's a tumor inside of you, right? So all of these things that are like, if I cannot see it and understand it, then it may not be true and there's something wrong with you. Whereas it's actually completely the opposite. If you're awakening, you're beginning to have the symptoms of knowing, of becoming aware, of knowing there's something else, but you just don't know what it is. And you do know of some of the gifts that you already have or abilities that you already have. It's true. I'm here to tell you that it's true. And finding a community or a place where you can find more information that tells you about this, that mirrors maybe your story, your what you're going through, is so incredibly helpful and important. So I had my first spiritual awakening around 2020, not 2020, the year 2000, I should say. 2020 was my second one. So that was about the year 2000, where I had a huge wave of awareness, where I was able to hear spirit speak to me just as clear as you're hearing me right now, or if there was a person next to me, like a real physical human. I was able to hear that. And it took me 20 years of doubting myself, of not paying attention to it, of thinking it's nothing. I'm not just not listening to it. Because in the year 2000, there wasn't the type of support and programs and YouTube channels and influencers out there and social media talking about this. This is completely different now, 24 years later, than when it was when I first started. So when I first started awakening, becoming aware of this, it was like a fun thing that happened, and that's all it was. And I didn't do anything with it because there was no support. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know anything, right? So it took me a really long time. Once I started going down my own spiritual path, and I actually remember, oh, this is what I do, this is what I can do, and began to really do the deep healing and awaken all of these beautiful, amazing abilities that I had no idea that it even existed back then. That's when I began to share. And I began to share my abilities, my gifts with other people, helping people. And then I started teaching it, because then it was like, okay, there has to be other people like me. There must be other people just like me who are coming from this place of, I don't know what's happening to me, or I feel like I'm going crazy, or this must be an evil thing, because I grew up Roman Catholic, so everything that I'm doing here is not what is taught in the Catholic Church. Yet it's something that really has helped so many, and it feels right. So this is the important part, that it feels right. Like you don't feel like you're doing something wrong, except by having that little thing above your head that says, hey, that's not what the book says. That is okay to do. We are at a part in life where we are being called to really trust our hearts, not just our mind. Our mind is the critical thinking, that I need to do this list. You have to go through these steps in order to do XYZ, or in order to achieve something. The heart is the lover. The heart is the imagination, the creator, the feeling and the guidance of like what you want to do, what feels good for you. And the healing is the reconstruction of all of the learning that we have received through all of our lives, through all of the years that we have been living, that have been telling us that we are separate from the divine, God, angels, whatever it is that you believe in, that we are insignificant, that we are powerless, that we are really nothing, but that there's something above us that is so much greater, and that we can't do anything without permission. And that's a huge one, because since we're little, we have been needing and conditioned to learn that we need to ask permission to do anything we want, right? You have a child, you're protecting the child so they don't get hurt, they don't get burned from the stove, right? They don't do whatever it is that they're going to get hurt. And it's like, no, 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 right? And the kid is like, I want to play, I want to play, I want to try, I want to play, I'm curious. And it's like, no, 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 you can't. You can't climb up that thing. You're going to fall and hurt yourself. Yes. Are we protecting our children? Yes. But what else are they learning? They're learning that what they want, their heart, what feels good to them, isn't. So that is the first part of disconnecting from the self, from what I know as a being, as a light being, and what people are telling me, that I don't know enough, I don't know well enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not connected, I'm separate. We're all connected, we're all one, right? So anyway, I don't know if I'm going off a tangent here, but this is the first initial wound that we end up developing. So on that, This is why I wanted to just come through and tell you, like, this is what I'm doing in my podcast. Besides telling beautiful, amazing stories of transformation, inspirational stories that you can see yourself in, I'm also bringing in all kinds of different modalities from different people, just like you and me. And that's important, because it's not like, oh, that person was born that way and they always could see spirits, or they would always whatever. Like, yes, you are always like that too, but we usually disconnected. We cut it off at some point in our lives, usually in childhood, early childhood, because we are told that it isn't. And we believe our parents or the adults or the society, because hello, they're teaching us, right? That's the first part. That's the first time that we stop ourselves from believing in ourselves, and we stop being us, and we begin to become the people, the person that they want us to be. Someone who behaves properly in society, someone who follows the rules, someone who is submissive and follows all the things that I tell them to do. It's no longer helping, and it's no longer the energy of now. That's the energy. That's the old energy. It helped us for many years, but right now it's different. Right now, we are all being asked to go within and to listen to the intuition and to listen to the part of us that is beginning to awaken, because we're all waking up. And the more of us that lean into our own spiritual awareness and awakening, the more that our energy amplifies, connects with others, and then others can feel that energy. And then this is why they're waking up as well, because there's so much energy of people already open to what else is there. It's not so much of like, this is the book, this is what it's told, and that's the rule, and that's it. This is the little box that we have been told, our parents were taught, our grandparents were taught. Now we're in a place of like, what if? What else is there? Could it be? Right? All of these questions that you ask, even if you don't have the answers, just asking those questions opens you up to amplifying your energy and allowing yourself to receive more of your own knowing, your own intuition, so that you can begin to tap into your own spiritual gifts. Okay, I love that. When I came up to like spiritual gifts, I looked at the time and I said 2222 angel numbers. I love it. Thank you for the confirmation. Like little things like that, they actually do mean something. It's not just like being aware of things and like looking around. They actually do mean something. All right, so on that note, I do want to invite you, if you want to come into my space, I have a new place which is very affordable, and it is an mentoring healing circle where you will see me about 3 times each month, and I'm going to do live card readings to answer your questions, to answer whatever is coming up for you, whatever you need guidance. I'm going to be doing live channeling where you can also ask me questions, because it's going to be through Zoom, so you'll be there and you'll be able to ask direct questions while I'm channeling. Not sure how that's going to work yet, but I'm really super excited because it feels extremely powerful. I'm also going to be teaching tools that I teach all of my clients as they continue to grow and continue to evolve, so that you have these tools and begin to use them in your own space. And also, I'm going to be doing energy healings in that space. So that is the mentoring healing circle. It's going to be amazing if you're wanting to do something, like if you're wanting to get your feet wet and like go a little bit deeper and get a little bit of support in your journey. This is a great place to start, because it's very affordable and there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. You don't have to continue coming. It's just amazing, right? So that is the mentoring healing circle. The second thing I wanted to tell you about, because this also dropped in, is healing the inner child. And it's an 8-week program. I wanted to bring it out and tell you guys first, the healing the inner child. Like I just told you before, we are the ones who begin to deny who we are when we're children, because of who is raising us and the community around us who are telling us what they believe is the truth. And so us as kids who come in completely aware, completely awakened, and now we have this like, oh, which is true? Is it me or is it what they're saying? Obviously it's what they're saying. They're my parents. I love my parents. They love me, or the community, or whatever it is that is around you. They're better than me. And that's when we begin. This is the very first time that we begin to let go of us, of trusting in yourself, intuition, when we let go of trusting what we know for what somebody else is telling you that we know. How can anyone know anything that you know within yourself? It's impossible. You are the only one who knows what you feel, what you see, what you sense, what you perceive. You're the only one. No one can get inside of your head, your mind, your body, your soul, and tell you, oh, this is what you're feeling. They can tell you what they think you might be feeling, seeing, or perceiving, but it's not you. And they're going to tell you from their perspective, from their point of view, their experience. So if I never have seen a ghost, and you're telling me I can see ghosts, and I try to convince you, like, no, that doesn't exist. I've never seen one, right? And now you're a child, and you're like, oh, am I crazy? Am I wrong? Am I imagining it? Right? So that's where we begin to detach ourselves, and we begin to betray our own selves, our inner selves. So healing the inner child is where you begin to heal that part of you that you let go of when you were a child without knowing, and you begin to put things together so that you can begin to allow yourself to remember, allow the true self to wake up, to come out, and to have the confirmation of what you're going through. So that is so important. I told you that my first awakening happened in the year 2000, where I heard my mother speak to me clear as day. I saw things, I put things together. It was magic. It was like literally magic, but I didn't know what to do with it. And there was no one there to guide me or tell me. And therefore, it took me 20 years before I actually started doing the work, started studying, started going in, because that's when this became available to me, right? This is when the awareness of the, oh, there's someone out there who can help me and guide me. And then that's when me telling my story was reflected in the person who was helping me, and they were able to tell me, oh, yes, that is what's happening, or whatever, right? Like, give me confirmation that I'm not crazy, that what's happening that is real, right? So that is part of healing the inner child. This is the beginning that of starting to heal yourself so that you can remember, put these things together, and begin to really trust in what it is that you are receiving, and really trust in what you are beginning to feel, to perceive, and what you really want to do, which probably is completely not what you studied or what you thought you'd be doing ever. I never thought I'd be doing this. I didn't even know that this was something that was available, right? I have my own career. I have my own job. I've done my dues and my duties and my things. This was not even thought of. It was nothing that I even dreamt of doing. It just happened. How did it happen? It happened because when I started doing my inner work, I began to remember who I was, what I was able to do, and how to help others. So it is now my mission to help you, anyone who is looking for that type of support and help, to come and begin to wake up and connect to their own abilities so that they don't need me. That's the goal, right? I don't want people to like be coming to me all the time. I want them to learn how to do it so that they can empower themselves, have their own abilities awaken, know how to use them, put them together, and then maybe they'll choose also to help other people in their circles, because that's how we grow. We grow by, I help these people who see me, and then each one of these people helps their own circles, right? I cannot reach everybody, but through you, I can. And that's the mission. That's what I'm doing. I wanted to come here and just give that information, that little bit of a little bit part of me, to show you that I'm just like you, and it's possible. And also, specifically, you're not alone. All right, guys. Really have gone off the time here. I thought it was going to be much shorter, but it's not, and that's okay. Everything is always the way it's supposed to be. You can follow me. There's just look in the description. You can find my website, Healing Through You. You can find ways of contacting me through there. You can just book a chat, a 15-minute chat if you want to chat with me about like how I can help you. If you're feeling called to that. There's like things that you can read, testimonials, all kinds of things in my website like that. You can follow me on my private Facebook group, Instagram, and TikTok. I haven't been there in a while. I just had not been called to do it, but I'm here also on YouTube. So, yes, let me know. And I will talk to you next time. Bye bye.